everyone, so in this video we are going to create a speedometer in Flutter. This is the output we are going to create. So we are going to use Canvas for this. As of now we have a container with a red color. So we will quickly add the child custom paint, and in that we will add a painter. So we have to create a painter. So below I will create a painter class. Override the methods. So we will create an object of this class and assign to our custom paint. Now everything you see here will be drawn in this method only. So to draw anything we will need the center. So to calculate center, let's just write the code. So first of all we will grab the width, then the height, then the horizontal center like center x, which will be width divided by 2, and the vertical center, which will be height divided by 2. After that we can create an offset, let's call it center, and here we can do center x and center y. Okay, now we got the center. Now first of all we will create this arc, the line arc. So for that we can use the canvas object, and then we can call the draw arc method. This takes a few things. First of all it takes a rectangle. So let's create a rect, and we can use the from center constructor. In that we can pass the width, the height. Now our rect is ready. Let's create the paint also. So for this I am going to give stroke width of 2, style will be stroke, paint style dot stroke, and let's give a color. Going to give gray. Okay. Dot style paint style dot stroke. Okay. Now we have to provide start angle, sweep angle, and use center. So if you go to the definition, there is an image here. So for our speedometer, we have our starting angle is 135, and we have to sweep till 45 degree. So let's start. But if you see the start angles take a radian, and we have to convert our degree to radian. So this is the formula to convert our angle to radian. So let's create a function for that. So it will return a double. Let's call it angle to radian. We have to use the pi from math, and we have to divide it by 180. So this is the formula that will give us radian from angle. So let's just create start angle equal to this, and we will use, or we will provide 135 as our starting angle. You see in the diagram 135, and we have to sweep till 45 degree. So it is like 360 plus 45, a total of 405, and we have to 405 minus our starting angle. So we have to sweep 270 degrees. So we can just say here 270, and sweep angle we can give here. Now use center, let's keep it true. So our arc is ready, but you can see these lines. So you can toggle it off by keeping use center as false, right? But you can see this arc is taking the whole width of our container, but we don't want that. So what we will do, we will provide instead 70% of our width. So we are multiplying by 0.7 and same for the height, right? So our first arc is done, but we have to create two more arcs. This pink one and below that is a black one, right? So first of all, let's remove this red container or the red color. Now to draw arc, but the outer arc must be around 75% or something like that because the inner arc is at 70%, right? So we have to create one more rectangle. Let's name it large rect. Okay. So we will just provide 75% of width and height. Now we can duplicate this line also and provide the large rect. So we got the arc, but we have to style it. So if you see this paint is more thick or this arc is more thick, so we have to create one more paint. Let's duplicate this and let's call it thick paint, and the color, let's give it darker shade because we are creating this arc, right? Now we can assign this thick paint and we have to change the stroke width. So instead of 2, let's give it 10. So we are done with that arc. Now we have to create one more arc, but we have to just change the paint, right? We have to change the color to pink. We can assign this. We will do the animation in the end of this. So first of all, let's focus on creating all of this and then we will animate it. Now we are done with the arcs. Now we have to create these small lines, right? So what we will do, we will run a for loop, right? Now our starting angle is 135 degree. So we will do like 135 and it will go till 405 as we have calculated, right? Because 135 plus 270 will give you 405, and instead of I am going to call it angle, right? Now let's create it. So if you see here, we have to create a line, right? So let's use the line method. So draw line. Now in that we have to provide two offsets, 0.1 and 0.2. So let's create that also. So instead of 0.1, I am going to say start and end. Let's assign that start, end. Okay. Now we have to calculate this start and end based on the center. So I am creating a new method which will take care of it because this code will be used repetitively. So let's call it offset and we will call it angle to offset, right? In that, first of all, we will take the center. After that, we will take the angle. Let's call it num angle. And we want one more thing, like how far it is from center. Like we want the distance, right? So let's take it double distance. Now we have to create x and y axis. Uh, so for x, we can write like center dot dx plus. So we have to convert this angle because in cos we can provide radian, but our angle is in uh, degree. So let's call it radian, and we are going to use this below method that we have created previously, and we will provide this angle here. Now we can provide this radian. Now we will use the distance into. So our x is ready. Now we will create the y point, which is just the sign, right? Now we can return offset which is X and Y. Now we can create our start and end point. So for start, I will give center. For angle, it is angle. And distance, for distance, I'm going to create one more variable. Let's call it radius. Now radius is half of our width. So let me give radius here. And in second, if I do like 50% of radius, let's see what will happen. So as you can see, we are creating the lines, right? But we want that our start should be like at 70% only. So instead of providing it full radius, we are going to provide 70% of our radius only, because our inner arc is at 70%, right? After that, we don't want the end to be like this long, so we will keep like around 65. Okay, 65 looks fine to me. Now, one more thing, we don't want to create this many of lines. So instead of incrementing one by one, we will increment it by like 4 or 4.5. Okay, so we created our inner line and it's look fine. Now we have to create this line, right? So as you can see, there are 10 sections. If you count this, there are 10 sections, and the total angle we are sweeping is 270. So every section is like of consist of 27 degree, right? So we have to create line based on interval of 27. So let's do that. So I'm going to call it highlights. I am going to use list.generate because we can do that. Let's give it 10. So our starting angle is 135. After that, we have to increment every 27 angle, and we can use just the index. So this will give us the highlight. Now we can do like for highlights. Let's call it angle. So instead, let's convert it to index based loop. We can use this same thing here also. And instead of 65% of radius, we can provide like 50% of radius. So you can see like every line is created, but one line is missing. So we can just fix it by generating 11 elements, right? And instead of 50, let's give it 55 or 575. Yeah, it's look good to me. Now let's add this text. So for that, we have to create text painter. Let's call it TP text painter. In that, you can assign text which take a text 10, and here you can give text. So for that, we can do like index into 10. So we will get 0, 10, 20, something like that, right? And we have to give direction, text direction to left to right. After that, we can use layout. So it will like generate the width and height of this painter. Now to paint that, instead of using the canvas, we have to use text paint dot paint, and in that we have to pass the canvas and the offset where we want to create. So let's try to give the end. So we are generating text, but it is not at the right place, right? So let's just copy this end and paste it here. Let's call it text offset, and instead of 57%, let's give it 50% only. Now it's look nice, but if you see, it is not properly aligned. it is not centered properly. So we have to subtract the width and height of the text from the offset. So let's create one more offset centered, and in that we will use like offset text offset dot dx minus, we will minus the width of the text, half width, right? And we can use the same for height. So it will be dy height. Okay. Now our text is also center, right? Now we have to create this center text. So we can just copy this thing and paste it out outside the for loop, and we already have the center offset. So instead of text offset, we can replace it with center, and let's just statically say here 72. Okay, we got everything here. Let's style it. I will give text style, font size of 40. If you want, you can give like 50 or 60, whatever. Now in the children, you can pass uh, more text pen. So for this kilometer per hour, I'm going to use this below text pen, and we have to do it in a new line. And it can be like this, size of 40 or 30. 30 looks good to me. Now we can just align text align dot center. Okay, this looks good to me. Now we have to add animations. So we will go to our root widget, and here we have to create animation and animation controller. So let me just create that. We have to like uh, use the mixin for the animation to work, and we can use the init state to initialize it. Now we can use the twin animation, so it will be of type double, and here we can say it will start from 0 and end at, let's say, 72. Okay, and this will animate our controller, right? Now we have to assign the controller also. So it will be like animation controller. We have to provide the vsync and the duration. Now let's give the duration as 1500. Let's just format it. Now we can wrap our custom paint with a animated builder, and we get here context and child. We have to provide a animation value. Here we can provide controller. Okay, we have to do a restart. Everything will work fine. Now we have to get the value in the painter. So what we will do, we will get something like percent, okay, double, right? Now we have to create a constructor for this. The same thing we can provide from here, animation dot value, and as soon as our widget is initialized, we can say forward. Okay, we have to use the controller dot forward, right? Now we have to use this percent and we have to animate this thing, right? So let's give the text here first. So we can use the percent thing, percent dot to int, right? Because we don't want uh, fractional values. Now after that, we have to animate this thing. So if we go here, so this is the arc here. So we have to create one more sweep angle. So we will just duplicate this and like pointed sweep angle. Let's assign this here. Now what we are going to do, we will just calculate the percent here. So we are getting the percent divide by 100, right? As of now it is 0 because the animation is not begin. So let's just do a reload and see. So as you can see, we have successfully created this same output that we are going to create. Hope you like this video, and in future I'm going to create more videos and Canvas and Firebase. Subscribe till then.